Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Take a good look at me. I've lived my 70 years plus. So I guess to one degree I'm lucky that I'm still alive. But I'm only lucky for being alive if I can take advantage of the moment. And what the moment says to me, ladies and gentlemen, that the next moment I might be no more. Nothing else to say. While I think I've said so much over the past 40 years, yet there's still something that has not been said. And I say that because what the step that was made to bring us all into a different type of reality hasn't done that. So I don't know if it'll happen after I go or if there's one more thing to be said, but I do have the opportunity to say it. And so I'd like to say it because, it's so essential, it's so necessary that it is said. What I want us to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is this. If we look all around us and all the things that's happening about us, we go from day to day trying to have as much excitement in life as we possibly can. But we know things can happen like the virus, the coronavirus that comes down and settles down for a while, take away a lot of the things that we had grown dependent upon. Or those things like wildfires that happen in California. It can cause a little destruction that can kind of interfere with our daily plans. Or perhaps some of the floods, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, and the tsunamis, perhaps even an earthquake. Those things can happen, volcanic explosions, that can kind of change the way we deal with life day to day. But the effort is to not let that destroy us, to hold us back, but come back with more vitality and accomplish more, love better. But in the reality, that's all fantasy because that happens for some and it doesn't happen for others. We're living in a society, my friends and my sisters and brothers, that causes a lot of joy for a few people and a lot of pain for a lot of people. Now, there is an in-between where people are fluctuating between pain and suffering and pain, and they hope that one day we'll overcome this. But there are other things that's happening in the world, ladies and gentlemen, where there's, stuff that you pray to overcome, and it has not overcome yet. I want you to know that there is a power that we can't see, can't touch, can't feel. I recall that power God, responsible for all the physical existence that's out here. Even those things that's made by the hands of man, it is an expression of the power and the wisdom of the almighty power that we can't see. I call God living within us, motivating and guiding us to do certain things. Even the nuclear bomb for a good purpose, but our purpose turned out to be something that's bad. And yet, at the same time, it can be something good because it deters the United States from attacking Russia or Russia from attacking the United States because they got what? Something to lose. And they don't want to take a risk. It's the same little simple thing when we're driving on the highway. Everybody stays in their lane. Why? Because they got something to lose. So they got rules that if we follow them, stay in those lanes, and we can go anywhere across the country that we want. Wherever roads lead us, just stay in those lanes. And that should give us an indication, ladies and gentlemen, that for peace and prosperity and joy and freedom to be maintained, it can happen if we stay in the lanes. And what are the lanes? Nobody has ever depicted the lanes or determined what those lanes are that will lead us to peace, that will lead us. But we know it's been said. It's just that when we look at those lanes that says lead us to peace, then we just figure that the highway is a dangerous place. The nuclear war is a dangerous place, but messing over one another and using laws to protect us from that or allowing us to do that, then it works out all right. Because usually the lawmakers and those others are the ones that benefit from it. And while making those laws, those who suffer are the ones that do not benefit from it. And that's not a good example of how to have rules and regulations that would allow the cars to move right down the highways, that would allow the nations with atomic weapons to stay away from each other. But we do know what happens with nations that don't have the rules, nations that don't have the backup. You get attacked by anybody. Nobody cares. You just a little whoopee. You know, like in the nation's faith, for instance, America, black people and people of color. Nobody cares about you. You just whoopee, whoopee, whoopee. You see, they'll let you in and make some decent money to help you throughout the society if they need you. Otherwise, you know, they just don't care. They know you're going to have to maintain yourself the best way you possibly can. And how is that? By dealing in illegal things. They allow certain illegal things to happen because they profit from it, like drugs. And then they allow other things to happen because it serves their purpose as far as keeping certain jobs open, like prisons and jails, because they, you know, are going to commit these crimes, and they have put laws there to protect themselves from what they have done to you. And so now they seem like everything is going on smooth. I guess what I'm trying to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. As I've said, and I'm constantly saying, the world we live in is designed to carry out the desires of what we call my way, the selfish way, that's led by the spirit of evil, that usually carry on by some noun we would call the devil. But it is the American way, and it is the way of the world. What that means is that we walk according to the principles and dictates of men, not of moral God, immoral men. And all around us is an example of that. Now, every now and then something happens that will wake people up. Somebody said something about a flood. It might have woke people up for a little while, but not very long. And anytime there's a crisis or something that comes along that's very destructive that affects a lot of people, little changes happen, but nothing major. And so we find ourselves creeping right on back where we came from. For instance, we have 400 years of supremacy of this nation, white supremacy, because they're the ones who have killed everybody and stolen and lied and cheated and ripped off everybody. The white people of this country, this is what they've done. They lied, they cheated, they stole, they were bigoted, they did anything they wanted to do to take everything that is in America. I'm not lying, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all the stuff that's been identified in America as being natural resources and see whose name's on it. Just do it. See whose name's on it. And how do you think they got it? Go back and do some research. Some of the truth would be there. The most evil things that they had to do, they kind of erased that. They don't want you to know that. But that's how they got it. And by doing that, they say, well, we need some of you, and we need some of you. And so we're going to work this here thing because we playing this game. And that's the game we've been playing for over 400 years. Now, for 400 years, there have been a group of people that's been suffering, second-class citizens. I heard some white organizations say that if they stopped right now after George Floyd's death and all the attention he got, and allow black people to have, and people of color to have anything they want, it would take them over 120 years to kind of even come up close to where white people have come. For 400 years that happened. That means for 400 years, all the white people in the world, or let me bring it back to America, for 400 years, all the white people in America says, blacks and people of color, it's okay that they're second-class citizens. It's all right. It's not that bad. That's all the white people in America said that. It didn't make no difference if you were a devil or a preacher. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a difference? Well, anyway. And you know what else happened? For over 400 years, many Americans said, well, ain't nothing I can do about it. Because those who stood up and did something about it got shot down, just like they killed everybody else to get the names on everything. They don't want anything to come in and interfere. But now they're taking it to a different level. They want to really take it to a different level, to take it all the way back. What they say, make America great again. When America killed and took down everybody, let's make America great again. Let's take away the voices of blacks and people of color. They don't have any right to say anything about what we're going to do. This is our country. This is our streets. This is our blood. We're the one that died for this. Yes. And perhaps they did, ladies and gentlemen. And they used us. They used us to do exactly and make what they did successful. We've been used for 400 years. And for 400 years, you've had white people saying we're going to play God. For 400 years, you've had people of color and black people to say, I will yield to the man God, white supremacy. Well, that's what it happened. Both of you defied God. Because God's plan is the rules that will keep you down the highway without hitting other cars. The rules that will keep you from attacking nations that can kick your butt too. You never had a rule that protect people from other people. Say, murderous people from people who want to live. You never had a rule except the rule that was set up by the ruler that says, do what I say do, when I say do it, and don't open your mouth. Don't protest unless you do it the way I say do it. Well, both have defied God. In history, if it's true, they told me there was a man by the name of David. Say he was a small little man, little weakling man compared to the troubles he had ahead. And one of them came in the form of a person by the name of Goliath. Well, you know the story of that. What I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Black people and people of color, white people are not your solution. Don't sit another minute expecting white folks to give you your freedom. Nobody's giving anybody freedom. Baby, you got to claim that. You got to claim freedom. If you don't claim freedom, some will say you don't deserve freedom. Freedom really is a natural thing if you're following the rules, but you're not following the rules. So not following the rules, nobody's going to give you freedom. You're going to have to claim it. Now, what am I saying about that? I'm saying we're, as people of color and black folks, you're going to have to deal with white supremacy the same way the nuclear bomb deals with Russia and the United States. You're going to have to deal with white supremacy the same way the highways deal with the drivers. You stay in your lane, everything is okay. You get out, you got some hell going on. So when it comes down to black people and the white supremacy, there must be established something there that makes one respect the other as much as the other want to be respected. And until that happens, you will always be a second-class citizen. What do you think? You thought you had come someplace, black people, people of color? You thought you had a black president? Now you got a female black vice president? And guess what? Out of all of that, where you think you've come, they got the states going back, especially ones in the South, who used to go under Confederates, who used to have the slaves. They're going back saying they want to change the rules and regulations. So if the nation votes against what they want or what they require, they will go back and change the rules. Just automatically change them and say, your voice don't matter. So where does that take you? That take you back to 1619. All those wasted generations, wasted centuries of living with a little of that. So my thing of it to you, ladies and gentlemen, is to help you while I can. Now, I've known this for quite some time, and periodically I might have given you a little bit of it. But for the most part, I've kind of held back because I know this kind of truth will allow the white supremacy to really kill you. I noticed that it woke Jesse Jackson up, Andrew Young, and Al Sharpton, and all those guys that came back from yesterday. They're still living, still talking. They still live. Why? Because they talking. Or what they're saying is pretty truthful, but it's just talking. You know, talk is no good without the standing up. And I ain't just talking about the standing up walking down the streets. I'm talking about the standing up saying, I ain't going to take it no more and mean it. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying this to you, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we just experienced white people, those same white supremacists that I was telling you about a moment ago, attacked the United States government. They attacked the United States government in the name of some more vicious evil. They feel that the whole nation is evil, but they want to use some more vicious evil to take it over so that they can rain down their terror on the rest of the nation. And the rest of the nation is still playing in the same playground. And that doesn't do work well for blacks or people of color. So what I need you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is understand this. They keep talking about a race war. You got cops constantly lynching and killing black people. You got rules and regulations that work against black people and people of color. You got all kinds of situations where they can't make enough money to live a decent life. They can't send their kids to college. They can't get adequate health care. All of these things happen, and they have been happening all our lives. And now they're telling you they are not going away anywhere. Now you got Joe Biden, President of the United States now, a Democrat, standing up saying he want to do more, so much more. But even the so much more that he would love to do will not do enough, because there will still be those. And as long as those exist that are being denied, it is an immoral system. So I want you to understand a moral system. A moral system works for everybody. A moral system works for everybody. Either everybody is suffering or everybody's loving life. The decision is based upon the people and what they want to do and where they want to go and who they're being led by and what they are being led by. So I come to you today to say, black people, it's time for you to stand up. Yes, we know that they got the Second Amendment, and the nation has been talking about gun control. It ain't working at all. White people are just loading up with guns. They got militias everywhere, planning on a war. They want to start a war with black people so they can kill all the black people. I almost said the N-word, but I think I'll just leave that for them. They just want to start a war so you can have black people just land off. Like somebody said, if that had been black people going into the Capitol pissed off but about 400 years of being treated as second-class citizens, they would have been mauled down. They'd all been shot down. And you know what? It would have been justified. Not one person in the white supremacist movement would have said, you shouldn't have done that. No, they would have said, this, we're showing you. This, what? What, some kind of Tifa. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about, but some kind of Antifa. Yeah, that's what they call it, Antifa. That what it was. And we were shooting down Antifa. All that kind of stuff. They would come with all kind of bull. But then the white supremacists did it. And now you got white people saying that was that wrong. You stand before the country. You stand up against the country. And something should be done. But the power that be, that structured power says, well, we're not going to do, we don't care. We're not going to be investigated. We're not going to investigate that because it works against us. In essence, they're saying, yeah, we instigated this. We started this stuff. We started it before it happened, and we're keeping it going right now because we plan to use it in the future. Now, that's actually what they're saying. I guarantee you that's what they're saying. And you sitting around arguing with them as another group of people, trying to see if you can coerce them to come and join you. You must be out of your mind. You think you're going to get that. Water can't join with oil. It just won't happen. It's not going to mix. It's not going to be any compromise there. If water going to be water, oil going to be oil. And one is going to be acting hateful kind of way, and they don't know which way that is. And one going to be acting a little bit different. They don't know which way that is. But each one going to be calling another the devil. And none of that going to work. But that's between them. And when you look at you, and what you black people, people of color are trying to achieve, you got a lot of white people on your side. Now, white supremacy works for all white people, even the poor, even those that's living on the street, walking around with push carts. White supremacy even works for them, but it doesn't work for everybody else. So it doesn't matter what's going on. It's going to always be you against them or them against you. So how are you going to deal with this? When they pull out the guns, the submachine guns, the guns that they had in Vietnam, the guns that they have in other war zones, on the streets, trying to shoot black people. Black people, you don't want to go through that, do you? Of course you don't. You know you can't do that. I'll do that. But I want to tell you something. Here's the secret. Here's the secret. And I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't know. Like I said, another moment from now, I might be dead. But I want you to know the plan, how the plan works. This is how the plan works. Now you listen to me good. You already know my plan. My mean selfish plan. You already know the plan of the world. You know the plan of white supremacy and all other supremacy. But here's God's plan. God's plan is that we should live human beings on this earth in peace, be prosperous, live in freedom, have the joy of life and the fulfillment of our dreams. That basically means that while we are on this earth, anything that we want to achieve is achievable. Anything we can imagine that we want to achieve is achievable. And that includes food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, and infrastructure, anything else you can master, it's there for you. The joy of it, your needs, your wants, and your dreams will be guaranteed. And the only thing you do is respect that God by that power that you can't see, by allowing that power to be in you, that would allow you to feel the same freedom for everybody else that you wish for yourself. And you, like everybody else, engage themselves because you benefit from all of the things that I've just mentioned in the process of creating all of the things that I've just mentioned. And when I say create and commit yourself, that means each of us who have a gift, and we all have gifts. Even the babies come in with new gifts. Even the baby come in with gifts to keep things going. Because the resources come from heaven. The resources come from God. All we got to do is apply ourselves. And everybody applying themselves makes everybody entitled to a portion of everything that exists. A portion of everything that exists. And that way, there is no need to lie, to cheat, to steal, to kill, to do any of those things, to be a hater, to be a racist, to be a bigot, to have terror or war. None of that stuff has any reason to exist. That's the heavenly plan. Plain old down the center heavenly plan. Nobody suffering. Easy to understand. Do you believe it? Oh, this sounds good. But would you do anything to make it happen? I can say this, you haven't. There have been those who tried to wake you up. They all died. They all were killed. From Jesus Christ and those who believed in Jesus back in the day, who doing the same things, saying we separate ourselves from the old system of the world because it's from hell, and we're creating a new system that's come from a love. See, this is what it's all about. It's all about getting rid of that old system, the system of the world. That's what the church mission was supposed to do, to prevent the systems of the world from coming into existence by exposing it and lifting up what I just shared with you. All of that has failed, but it's still the same mission. So unless you're trying to change the system and create a new system, you're not doing anything. You're just playing the same old game. Now I ask you, is America trying to create a new system? Or are they trying to mend it, trying to patch up what is? Are they trying to still patch up the white supremacy system? Yes, that's exactly what they're trying to do. That's what the Democrats are trying to do, and others. Patch it up. White people who say black people got rights too, they want to join in with that. Patch it up. But when you say fix it up, I've been out here for 40 years. I've heard people say, yes, that's all right, that's all right. How many people have I seen stand up for it in my day? I haven't seen that many. I'm sure that there have been. Somebody say, what have you done? Well, I've done a lot of stuff. I got a record to prove it. I guarantee you I don't have any money to prove it, because I did not engage myself in the system. Why didn't I do that? Because I wanted to be a representation of what it means and what it engages in individuals to be doing if they're going to be in the process of creating a different system. You see? So when you do that, you might have to suffer not having the wherewithal to send your kids to college. You might not have the wherewithal to make sure your kids dress like everybody else, so that they can walk around and feel decent and proud about themselves, feel confident about themselves, because you have had to squash your confidentiality down so low till you act like you were nobody. And so your kids coming up thinking they are nobodies. Well, what am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you to receive that God in your life that would allow you to be like those ones who are led with the power that creates a new system. Now, in creating this new system, I want you to know that there will probably be a war, because most folks in America don't know anything about it, and they have spent their lives chasing after the man God. And what is the man God? The man God is money. Money allows you, if you got enough of it, to walk over there with white supremacy, if you're black, and act like you are not black or people of color. But they have a way of letting you know, of reminding you that you still black. So all the stuff that has come to this point put us all in the same boat. We're second-class citizens that's ready to be squashed back down to 1619 or elevated to where we've never been before. So how do we do that? White supremacy must know. Boy, it took me a long time to get here. 24 minutes and I still haven't gotten there. Let me go and get there. White supremacy must know that if they mess with black people, they're messing with themselves. And let me put it to you the ultimate extent it might go to. Here's this. White people, might say we want to kill all the black people and all the people of color. We got the guns, let's go do it. And come out with that in mind and go out and start killing black people, people of color. And let's just say they kill them all. Okay? But what I'm telling you, your victory is this, and white people must know it. That after they kill all of you, see, they say thou shalt not kill. I'm sure you have the right to defend yourself, but you didn't kill because you wanted to honor that. Thou shalt not kill, but you still defended yourself. So how do you defend yourself when they come out all those submachine guns? When that war starts, it is incumbent upon every black person and every person of color to have a match. Because white people don't care about dying. They are dying a minute trying to steal something. They are dying a minute trying to take something from you. Yes, they will die in a minute. But you know what they don't want? They exposed themselves back in when they attacked Tulsa, back in Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. When they went down there, why did they do that? Black people just living, saying, hey, we don't need you. We can do our own thing. But it didn't. White supremacy can't afford that. So they say, we got to do something about that. What did they do? They went down and burned that place to the ground. Killed many people. Bombed them. Burned them out. And got away with it. And they did that in several other places within the United States. And what happened? Got away with it. So what they're saying is what they really care about is property. When you march on the streets walking, they don't mind you doing that. Protesting. You're not destroying anything, but you burn something. All of a sudden, they're ready to get you caught. They're threatened now. Because this is what they call the expression of who and what they are. When Israel was bombing Gaza a couple of days ago, when you look at that destruction, what do you see? Where do those people go? Huh? Where do they go? In Iraq, when they bomb, where did those people go? Libya, when they were bombing, where did those people go? In Japan, when they were bombing, where did those people go? In New York, mood people, when they were bombing, where did those people go? See, white people, that's their way of saying this is the stuff that means something to us. So we're going to do it to you because we know what it would do to us, and it has to do it to you too. So that's what they did. So what they're saying, their greatest threat is that you would take a match, that you would take a Molotov cocktail, that you would do stuff like that. When they get through killing every last one of you, they go back to New York. They go back to Washington, D.C., Atlanta, California, every place they come from, and wonder, where the hell is everything? Because it looks just like Iraq when the bombing was done. It looks just like Gaza when the bombing was done. It looks just like any nation that's been bombed to death. Where you go? You sit on a rock. You sit on a stone with your hand on your hip trying to think of what you're going to do now. You ain't got no black people. You ain't got no people of color to be slave to. So what you going to do? White supremacy doesn't exist anymore. So you're going to break it down and turn you some new slaves. Turn you some new, whatever you want to call them. And you know what? They would do the same things that others did when you put that pressure on them. They will become your slaves. And they'll do just like everybody else. But you know what? Black people might not have wanted to leave, but they will be gone. And whatever happened to Jesus should happen to them. If there's a tomorrow, if there's a heaven, maybe it's there for them. If there's not, at least they ain't got to go through this anymore. Not anymore. And you, my friends, white supremacy and white power and all you guys who figure that you're so superior, that you're God, well, you can have your God. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, people of color, your defense is truth and love. Truth and love is your defense. But the match is your weapon. Not before the war, only when the war starts. When all the cars on the highway start piling up. When all the bombs are started being dropped. See, that's what happens when white people and white supremacy in America attacks blacks and people of color. That's the same thing. Remember that, okay? I say that because God loves you. God is the one that told us that water was first, fire the next time, and it's not raining from heaven. It's raining through people who are fed up with a man-made God. Goodbye.